A part 2? Okay, then. Let's watch.
The Henry U.S. Survival Rifle, Part 2. Why? It needed to be done. Stay with me, and I will tell you all about it. With the first time out with the Henry U.S. Survival Rifle, things seemed to go as planned. A dovetail to Picatinny rail adapter was readied, as was a suitable red dot sight, as was a suitable 2 to 7 by 32 scope. The review was moving along smoothly until the first outdoor range day with it. The rifle was first shot with open sights, and I discovered that the front sight needed to be drifted, which was done, and that cured impacts hitting far left on the target. I returned to the outdoor range for day 3. Open sight shooting was no problem. Shooting with a previously zeroed red dot sight was also no problem. Then came shooting with a scope. That's when things started to fall apart. I was hitting all over the place. Come to find out that the dovetail to Picatinny rail adapter had come loose. But that was not the entire problem. The scope, it seemed, was not holding zero. The scope not holding zero was actually not a surprise to me. It was an inexpensive scope, and who would want to put an expensive scope on a Henry U.S. Survival Rifle that was really not intended for optics to be mounted? Something had to change. The first change to make was to discard the rail adapter. The second was to change the optic. Not learning my lesson the first time, I again opted to install a similar scope, an AIM 2 to 7 by 32 mm long eye relief scope with illuminated reticle that I had laying around. A suitable set of worn 722 LM high mat rimfire quick detach scope rings made of solid steel with a horizontal split for a 1-inch tube scope were ordered. My prime consideration was if the scope rings would be high enough for the scope to clear the somewhat high rear side of the Henry. That turned out not to be an issue. The scope was mounted to the Henry, leveled as best as one can level a scope, and it was time to take this new combination to the indoor range and see if I could get an initial zero at 25 yards. This range time was set to be as challenging as my first time using a magnified optic with the Henry. So, I am going to roll the range footage and let you in on what happened. I pondered on my expectations for this setup as I was assembling all the components that make up the Henry U.S. Survival Rifle, including the new scope and scope ring combination. Now, I am not a pessimist. I am an optimist, and I hope for good things to come out of this range day, but knowing, in the back of my mind, that expectations can be leveled flat very quickly. I had 4 shoot and see targets and planned a full magazine of 8 rounds to be spent on each. I had hoped that by target number 4, things would have fell into place. They did, but it was a case of being in the right church in the wrong pew. Let's get through this range session, and then I'll just get to my final thoughts regarding the Henry and using optics, at least from my perspective.
Fascinating is a word I use for the unexpected.
As it should be known by now, the Henry U.S. survival rifle, a somewhat direct descendant of the Armalite AR-7 survival rifle, a rifle that was intended to be a compact package, carries on that tradition with some major upgrades to make it a viable survival firearm. Some would use it as such, while others just find it a fun gun for plinking at the range or in the great outdoors. It is kind of neat to pull it out of a backpack or range bag, assemble it, stuff a loaded magazine into it, and just plink away the day, after which the barrel and receiver can be removed, stored in a buttstock, shoved back into a backpack or range bag, and transported wherever. As a compact, easily storable unit, the Henry U.S. survival rifle stands on its own merits. Adding an optic just complicates things. Now, I am not saying that a good optic will not make a difference in accuracy. I am saying that if one expects the Henry to expand its limitations by adding an optic, is akin to putting lipstick on a pig. It may be fun to do, but the pig won't benefit from it. So, the idea of adding an optic to my Henry U.S. survival rifle is just an illusion of mine that will be quickly, if not already, lost. The Henry U.S. survival rifle works just fine as packaged, some assembly required, and no batteries needed. Well, that's going to do it. Another chapter completed in this journal of mine. I hope that you enjoyed the presentation and will return for more of my journeys. I welcome all. Until we meet again, and I hope that to be soon, be vigilant, be armed, and be safe wherever your travels take you.
Not bad for a human. I will be Bach.